All right, perfect. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our special Zcode Sports Trader live webinar, in which we're going to demonstrate our powerhouse app that's generated more than $2.635 million this year alone. And that's just based off of the systems that we have incorporated into Sports Trader. And we're going to show you how you can do that as well. If you're completely new to Zcode, then this webinar will be very useful to you. Also, and even if you are one of our intermediate or seasoned users. My name is Alex, and I'm part of the Zcode the tech team, and I handle support along with Annie, Emily, and others. And joining me live today for the first time on our webinar are also our esteemed Zcode in-house experts, Jake and Bear. Bear is one of our resident experts on American football, NFL, the NCAA, basically, anything to do with American sports. While Jake's expertise lies in tennis and soccer. So for those of you who are regulars on the Zcode forum, you'll probably know both of these experts, and they're going to be here today to share their knowledge with you as well. The main presentation in this webinar will be for a duration of approximately 45 minutes. And we're also going to have like a brief Q&A session as well to address your queries about our latest Sports Trader app. And after all of that, we will have our experts talking to you and sharing, their pearls of wisdom. This webinar will be recorded, so don't worry if you miss out on anything during this session. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to basically give you a sneak peek into our cool trailblazing software called the Zcode Automated Sports Trader, which we actually released earlier last year. And it is the very latest in cutting-edge sports betting technology, allowing people who are totally new to sports to legally make profits like we did. And our Sports Trader app is an application, a software that automatically generates sports predictions. And it allows you to bet on your favorite sports on complete autopilot without any need to manually analyze sports at all. So you can use it even if you've never placed a single bet in your life. And for those of you who are already trading or betting on sports, this will turn out to be an additional tool in your arsenal. While you go out there and you want to make your usual bets. So our development team called ZLab has actually been hard at work over the past year to create and constantly improve the Sports Trader app. I can't even begin to talk about the number of improvements and developments that have gone into this application. It's just insane. Okay. So there's going to be we will talk about how we can help you to easily gain great profits from sports betting. And the best part is that you don't really need to know much about sports either. This app is especially great for newbies to sports betting as well as for the more experienced, like the advanced sports betting experts we have on board. And it has massive profit-making potential as well. Let's take a look at the kind of profits you could have earned with our Sports Trader software. If you had consistently followed every sports pick that our software had selected for you from all of the sports and trends available, you could have earned $6.14 million over the past 3 years. And that's in millions, not hundreds of thousands. And if you're interested in shorter term profits, then here's what you could have earned by following our Sports Trader selections just over the past year alone. That's $2.635 million. So just think about it. What could you do if you had an extra $1 or $2 million in your bank account a year from now? All right. Here's the thing. Again, at the end of the day, it also depends on your trading balance, basically your bankroll, and how much you're willing to risk. But even with conservative bet wagering and risking, these are the kind of amounts that you can reach if you use the Sports Trader to the full of its potential. And these numbers are actually also fully verified by our third-party monitoring services like BetDog and BetVerify, and we actually have links to those verified results on the Sports Trader page as well. Okay, so you must be wondering by now, how can I, achieve these kinds of profit figures and all from sports betting alone? Well, first of all, before we get into how you can arrive at those figures, the one thing that's really important is, about the philosophy or approach to sports betting. We don't look at this as gambling. What we do is we look at it as an investment opportunity. And as a result, we trade on sports. We don't gamble. We don't see it that way. And the only way you can grow your bank balance reliably is to do it with a statistical winning edge. And that's where our Sports Trader app comes in. So I'm sure there must be many of you who've been around the block trying to earn profits from this highly lucrative, sports betting world. But the problem is that you've been jumping from one system to another or following self-proclaimed sports gurus who only lead you and your account into a downward spiral of losses. So how is the Sports Trader app any different? Well, the beauty of this software is that it takes away all human emotion and subjectivity from the equation. And it delivers its recommendations, its selections, based purely on math and statistics alone. All right? And that's where the power of statistics comes in. That's how our app gets in with its selections, and it provides these highly predictable trends which will allow you to profit off of them. So thanks to our VIP members who support and fund our developments, we are fortunate to have these powerful programming resources which helped us to develop one of the most powerful and accurate sports trading engines that anyone has ever seen. And not only does SportsTrader have over 100 plus parameters in its winning formula, yeah, that's 100, more than 100 parameters. Okay, that's what it takes to be able to create one of these trends. And it also has live access to major sports betting odds, statistics, and last minute line moves, which gives us the ability to actually go back in time and see what would happen if we applied the system on historical data. So that's what makes our systems proven and fully backtested on historical data as well, with live money bets on forward tests, leaving no room for luck or chance. Now, let's talk about the software itself. So, what is Zcode Sports Trader and what can it do for you? So, let's imagine if you had a fully automated sports betting robot that has access to more than 200 plus winning systems inbuilt, okay, available at the click of a button. And each of these systems has several profitable trends that can be applied to multiple sports. And just so you know, basically each trend is like a subset. It's like a subset of a sports betting system that generates profitable picks based on specific settings that are applicable to not only that sport, but also the system that's developed for that sport. So, let's take for example, we have tons of experts who send in their systems to us, and we develop their systems and their trends. And here's how it works when it comes down to Sports Trader. The main chunk of the Sports Trader app consists of our main Zcode systems, the automated systems. But along with that, you have plenty of other systems that were also developed by our own users, people who are experts in various sports and who've discovered their own trends, their own systems while betting. And we've actually helped them develop them into systems that could be incorporated into the app. So our app is not only driven by our very own systems, it's also driven by the community. So if you are a contributor in the community, and if you were to be able to create a system of your own, sooner or later it can find its way into the app, and it'll make, even as an expert, it will make your approach to betting so much easier, right? You wouldn't have to worry about making sure that all the rules are checked. You wouldn't have to worry about making sure that those particular conditions have been satisfied. Everything's taken care of by the app. It is a total no-brainer. So yeah, and so like I was saying, the robot selections are like totally fully automated. So you don't need to analyze anything yourself. All you're required to do is just click your mouse a few times, choose the sports and the trends that you prefer, and not only does the app calculate all the stats and probabilities for you, it also gives you the exact picks and selections you need to place to win, along with the precise unit sizes needed for those bets. So simply place the suggested bets at our recommended bookies, and that's all there is to it. That's like just 5 to 10 minutes per day. You don't have to sit down and analyze the system yourself. The app does it for you. It doesn't really get any easier than that. And besides being user-friendly, the software is also fully transparent, which means you can see the past performance of your chosen systems and trends anytime you want. All right, so let's just take a look at this list of systems. This is actually taken from our current top performing systems. Okay, and these systems are available not only within the Zcode members area, it's also available within the SportsTrader app. And like I said, this is what's so convenient about SportsTrader. It brings together all of these systems and packages it for you so conveniently. You don't really have to step out of the SportsTrader app at all. Everything you need is at the tip of your fingers. Okay, so let's take a look at these systems and these various columns that we have here, which basically reflect their recent performances. So first you have the name of the system and its corresponding trend, and usually it's also you'll have the name of the person who created that particular system. Then the ROI is basically your return on investment for that particular trend, which gives you an idea of how much profit you can earn based on the principal or your betting bank. Then you have the average deviation percentage, which is actually a measure of performance. So how it works is the lower the value, the better the system performance and the smoother the graph. All right. So even the smoothness of a system's performance. If you take a look at a system's performance graph, the smoothness of the graph also indicates how often the system wins. Because let's say, for example, if you have a system that does point north, but you notice that it's highly jagged. Okay, what that means is you tend to have a lot of wins, but there are also plenty of losses in between as well. But it generally points northwards. If you were to have a graph that's smooth as it goes up, that means that it's more consistent in winning. So the average deviation gives you an indication of how reliable that system is. And then you have the trust percentage, which is actually more of a subjective factor. It's trust percentage that's built on a couple of parameters as well as trust from within the community. So it also reflects how many other people are more likely to use this particular system. And of course, the last column, which I'm sure everyone loves, would be the profits that are obtained from the system. Now, in this particular case, when you take a look at the top systems, they normally indicate the profits that have been earned by each system over the past 3 months, assuming that you are trading at $100 per unit, because that's the standard stake size that we use not only in our analysis but also on our own accounts. So besides all the benefits we mentioned, you can even develop your own systems, and this is especially useful if you're an expert in the sports of your preference. And if you're the type who's inclined to create your own betting trends based on statistics alone, this is another one of those features that's available within the app itself that will allow you to submit your own system so that our development team can do it for you. And if it turns out to be a viable system, it will actually be added into the app, which makes it easy for you as a user and even others who would want to be able to benefit from your system. So in a way, it's also a way by which other people will get to know of you and the work that you've put into your own systems. All right, so if you guys are if you guys are interested in having to know more about SportsTrader, then the first thing that you need to do, especially if you don't already have access to it, is to sign up for your trial through this link here. Now, if you are already an existing Zcode member, then you can gain access to it by going through the very same link, and it'll take you through the registration page as well. And once you're done with the registration, it'll bring you back to your Zcode members area with the SportsTrader trial available to you. Now, the one thing I do want to make clear to everyone is that this particular software isn't just available as a standalone software that you can run on your desktop. It's also available within the Zcode members area. So if you were to sign into Zcode and you've signed up for SportsTrader, then it'll become available as a separate tab within the VIP members area. So this gives you the chance to be able to access SportsTrader on the go. You don't really need to install the software on your laptop or on your phone or anything like that. You could just simply sign into Zcode and then access SportsTrader while you're on the move. All right, so once you're signed up, the first thing that you need to do, if you're a person who prefers to have the software directly installed, go ahead and download and then install the software. And we've made it available for installation on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And like I explained, it can even work as a web-based app inside of your browser, on your cell phone, or even on your tablet. So it makes it very convenient for you. Okay, so we're going to keep you. If you guys have taken down this link, or if you want to go ahead and type that into your browsers, go ahead, do that right now. And just let us know once you reach that page. You can type away on the left-hand side. It's very simple. It's just zcodesystem.com/SportsTrader. If you're already inside of the Zcode members area, you can directly go there through zcodesystem.com/sportstrader/start.php. Okay, so just give me a moment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the app itself so you can see how this works. All right, can everyone see the sports trading platform here, the software? Just type away on the left-hand side so I know that everyone can see this. Okay, great. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run you through the software itself, and talk about a lot of its features that have been included into the app to make things very easy for you as a sports bettor or sports trader. All right, now as soon as you log in to the software, and remember this same interface that you're seeing right now is also going to be available inside of your Zcode members area. All right, it'll look exactly the same. There's no difference at all. And the great thing about the SportsTrader is that you can even access the Zcode VIP picks and wall from within the app itself. So you guys see the tabs here at the top. This allows you direct access to the VIP picks area, the wall, the VIP forum, everything, just like as if you were inside the Zcode members area itself. All right. As long as you have an active subscription with Zcode and you've signed up for SportsTrader, you will have access to all of these tabs. All right, so at first glance, what you'll notice is that our SportsTrader software is divided into 4 selector sections. On the left, you have this stuff here. You have these sports selectors, the system selector, and the trend selector. Okay, and here on the right-hand side are the profit charts, and this basically shows you, the performance chart for all the systems that have been selected. Let me just go ahead and show you what it's like if I were to just simply, just clear the slate, start from like a clean blank slate, and just show you what it's like. All right. So on the left-hand side, you have the profit chart that shows you the results over the past 3 years, and you can even change the time frames over here. It'll show you the total profit. So you have this figure, which is what we quoted to you earlier. This is over a period of 3 years following every single one of the picks that our SportsTrader app generates for you. Okay, and on the right hand side, here you have what their profits would look like over 1 year. You're not limited to just 1 year. You can even go and shift to 3 months and see what it looks like. So I click 3 months here, and this is what it looks like. All right. So assuming you're trading at $100 per unit, this is what your profits would have been over the past 3 months alone. And even if you don't have that much to trade with, let's say you're banking a relatively smaller amount and you stake only $10 per unit. Even at only $10 per unit, okay, that's like you notice this is 670,000. That's almost 671,000. Okay, divide that by 10, and that's what you would have earned over 3 months alone. And this is just from the default blank portfolio that you get as soon as you log into the SportsTrader app. All right. Coming back to this, so we have these selector sections over here, and depending on the selections that you click, right, the profit graph on the right-hand side will update itself to show you the combined past performance of all your selected systems. Now, for the sake of comparison, you have the first graph, which will show you what it was like over a longer period of time. All right. Now, remember what I was saying. Even if you don't have a large bankroll, okay, even if you don't have $2,000 to spare at the moment, no worries. We have a handy little portfolio advisor tool, okay, and I will show you how that works once we get into the selections itself. All right. And what the portfolio advisor section will help you to do is to select the best unit size based on your available bank, while keeping in mind all of the systems and trends that you've selected. Now, before we jump into the actual selections, what I want to just remind you guys about is, if you haven't signed up, right? If you haven't already begun trading or betting, then it's very important that you open your bookie account with one of our recommended bookmakers. Okay, so if you can go ahead and easily just click this link, and it'll take you to the bookies page. That's the same thing as clicking over here. If I click bookies here, it's the same thing. You'll get this page, which gives you a list of our recommended bookies, and it gives you details about each of the bookmakers here. All right, so take the time to go through it based on whichever country you are. Like say for example with Bet365 or Pinnacle Sports are great for non-US members, while 5dimes and bookmaker.eu they're great for the US members. So you can click these links, create your accounts if you don't have one yet, and it's always good to have at least 2 or 3 accounts at any of these bookies. The more accounts you have, what'll happen is it gives you more of a choice in terms of better odd prices. So you might notice that one bookie has better prices than the other, and that's how it turns out to be useful. So once you have your bookie accounts up and running, then just come back here. We'll switch back to the SportsTrader app, and we're going to take a look at the main selector sections, which I mentioned earlier. Now, the first box on the left-hand side, the sports selector, allows you to choose the sports that you prefer. All right, and if you're not particularly interested in any specific sport, or if you'd like to be able to gain maximum profits from all the available sports, then just click this checkbox over here. By just clicking this one, it selects all of the sports for you. All right. And a very nice feature that our development team added in here is the portfolio savings section. You see this drop down along with these options at the side. So what this allows you to do is, let's say for example, with one of your portfolios, you don't mind having all of the sports, and you don't mind adding all of the systems and trends under those sports. Okay. And let's say you want to have another portfolio where you're focusing only on, say for example, American football, the NFL, only that. So you can create separate portfolios for these different sports, or different systems and trends, or combinations of them, right? And then save them separately. And then this allows you to load them up very conveniently later on whenever you want. Okay? So it allows you to just create different portfolios for yourself, either through your own manual selections or also by using the portfolio advisor, which I'll show you later. All right, for now, let's just focus just on a couple of sports. Say, for example, okay, let's see. I'll leave American football there. Esports might be interesting. I'll leave that in there. Rugby. Okay, and you'll notice, like, a couple of sports are off season. So these are not available. There's no point in, like, checking them in any case. So, and you notice as I uncheck them, the systems selection box, gradually just kind of decreases in size because it means the systems that were created for those sports have been removed from the list temporarily. All right. Let's say I don't want to deal with Aussie rules. I don't want basketball. Let's just keep, or let's just keep these sports for now. All right. Now, under these sports, you have a wide range of systems that have been developed, not only by our team, but also by our users, by our experts. And they've added, they've contributed their systems to our community, and our development team has actually, codified and programmed these systems based on the rules that they've created. So this entire list of systems that you see under the system selector are available for these sports. Okay? Now let's say I want to maximize my profit across all these sports. So I'm going to check this, and that immediately selects everything, all the systems under these particular sports. All right? And remember I was telling you that the sports trader is very transparent in the sense that it shows you all the details that you need to know about each and every one of these systems. And you notice this little gear icon on the right hand side. If you click the gear, okay, it shows you details about that particular system. So you have, details about the system, its past performance, the performance over the past 3 months, okay, the last 30 days graph, the last 7 days, the last week, and by month, by day of week. I mean, the kind of stats that are available to you at the tip of your fingers just by clicking on that gear icon is insane. All right? You will not get this kind of detail anywhere else. And it's available for each and every one of those systems. Okay? So once you're done selecting the systems, you come down to the trend selector. Now, like I mentioned earlier, a trend is like a subset. It's like a subset of rules for a particular system. Now, you might have a system with, let's say, 4 conditions, okay? And for most of the trends that have been created for that particular system, those 4 rules happen to be the 4 common rules that need to be satisfied no matter which trend it is. And then it becomes specific. So with each of those trends, you can have more rules added, okay, which makes those trends highly specific in terms of the kind of profits that they can generate from the trends that have been observed on these sports. All right. Now, the great thing about the trend selector is that it allows you to filter out the trends that are available to you, either based on whether they're active right now or the most profitable and stable. Okay, and what this means when we say active only, what it means is that it'll only show you the trends which are available to you right now, which are currently active. Meaning to say, some of the other trends on the list would naturally drop off because some of those sports are not available. Okay, then it might be out of season, whatever it is. Or for some reason, that particular system may have been abandoned by its user. It doesn't matter. That tends to happen sometimes. But the ones which are the top performing and active only will be shown in this list. All right. Now, if I uncheck this and check only the most profitable and stable, this one's self-explanatory. I don't really have to explain it. It just simply means all the trends under these systems which are the most profitable and stable, meaning to say it's also consistent. All right, and you'll notice that we have a whole list of these guys over here. These are the trends available under these systems for these sports. All right, I hope you guys have got this much so far. Yeah. All right, and you can even combine these two filters. You can add the both of them together, which means that you can have, highly active and the most profitable trends only. All right. Now, along with these filters, you also have the types of systems that you can have, which is, it's based on whether the system uses flat or fixed stakes, or if it's a system that uses progressive staking, such as our ABC systems. I'm just going to, use all systems because that allows me to maximize my profit. And then this drop down, the second one, allows us to sort the list of trends based on the profit method. Now, the kinds of profit methods that are available to you are pretty cool. So you have the top total profit so far, okay? Then you have top profit over the past 3 months only, then the best return on investment, the best profit chart, and the best trust factor. So for now, what I'll do is I'm going to leave it on the top profit over the past 3 months, okay? Because that's also a good indication of whether these trends are generating profits in the short term. If you're the kind of person who likes to look at sports from a longer term perspective, then you can take a look at the top total profit, and also best ROI. That's entirely up to you. So these filters or these options, it makes it so much easier for you to just choose only the kinds of the systems that you want, the systems and the trends that are most profitable. Okay. So now that I have these trends filtered out, and I'm happy with happy with this list, I want to select this, and that automatically selects all of the trends that satisfy all of these conditions. That means it's active only, the most profitable, and it's based on the top total profit. And as soon as I do that, you'll immediately notice that there are these active signals on the right-hand side. And all of these signals here, okay, these signals were generated by these trends and systems on the left-hand side, which we selected. For now, what I'm seeing a lot of MLB, which is okay, that's cool. All right, you have active signals here, and if there are signals that have already, they're already over, in the sense that the match is already over, then they'll be moved into the past signals, and you'll see all of that listed here. Okay, that's for the day. We have quite a bit of tennis on the right-hand side. All right, so now that I've given you a basic overview of how it is, how to use the selectors to create your own combination of sports systems along with trends. The next best thing to do is you've obviously put a lot of work into selecting all of this stuff, and you'd want to be able to use it easily later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this. Okay, and just simply call it my selections or my trends. Let's say I'll call it my favorite trends. Okay. Yeah. And you hit enter and just save that. Click the save icon. All right. And as soon as you do that, once it's saved up all of the data associated with these trends and selections, it'll become available to you as a drop-down within this drop-down list. Yeah, you see this? Now I was testing out the software again and just checking this out, adding some trends of my own. So I created these ones over here. The default portfolio is what we saw at the beginning, and my fave trends is what I just created. So this makes it very easy for you guys to load up any combination of system selections and trend selections that you like. All right, everyone clear with this so far? Okay, coming back to this. Now that we've taken a look at all the selector sections, the most important thing, especially if you're a newbie, okay? If you are a newbie to sports betting, the most important thing to remember is that you have to manage your risk appropriately based on the size of your bankroll. And that's where the Portfolio Advisor tool comes in. Can you guys see this section here towards the bottom? Let me just scroll down a bit. You see this, the Portfolio Advisor section here? All right. So what this allows you to do is It allows you to adjust the unit sizes based on how much you're willing to risk. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't have, $100 to spare per bet, what you can do is just very directly, just here, go ahead and modify the value. And it immediately, recalculates the bankroll required for all of, remember, this is the bankroll required for all of these trends. You don't need to select all of them. Okay, and that's like a huge list, which is why the bankroll might look like it's massive at this point. But if I were to uncheck, say, half of this list, then this bankroll will drop down. Again, let's say I'm the kind of person who can only stake, $2 per bet. So you have to be able to cover all of these active signals, but we will show you another way by which you can use the portfolio advisor to, to shape or create your own fine-tuned portfolio. And that'll be based on not just, the size of your bank. It'll also be based on how you are as a person. What's your kind of risk appetite when you're betting. So we'll get into that as well. Now, like I said, to get started, the simplified tool which I just showed you, that's the one that allows you to do quick calculations based on the initial value of your preferred unit size. And so, okay, there's another way to do this. You don't have to do it only based on unit size. If you, let's say, for example, you say that you have only $1,000 for your bankroll, and it'll immediately go ahead and recalculate the unit size for you. All right. Now, to appreciate the full power of the Portfolio Advisor, the best thing to do is to just click this button, the Portfolio Advisor button, and that will launch the Portfolio Advisor in full. Okay. You'll be required to go through a few questions at first so that the Portfolio Advisor can recommend the best settings and combination of system trends based on your preferences. So let's just quickly run through these questions we have here, and we'll go through the available options one by one. So the first one it says is, which sports do you follow? Okay, now if you're like me, the sports maybe doesn't matter to you at all. All you really care about is the profit. So just select this, and you don't really have to worry about having to manually select the sports at all. One thing I do want to make clear is that once you start modifying these settings inside of the Portfolio Advisor, you'll be given the choice to apply this portfolio which the system generates for you, and then it'll apply it to the selection boxes on the left-hand side, which I demonstrated to you earlier. All right. So the reason I'm saying that is because once you use the Portfolio Advisor, it may overwrite the settings that you already have on the left-hand side. So make sure you save your settings before you come into the Portfolio Advisor. Okay. I hope that's clear to everyone. So, like I said, coming back to this one, if you don't care about the sports, then just select this one. Or if you're the type who does care about what sports you bet on, then let's take a look. You can select each of these sports individually. Okay. So I can do all of that. Whatever, choose whatever you like, and using this combination, we'll move on to the next question, which is that basically reflects your profit expectations and your risk tolerance. So what kind of a bettor are you? Are you a conservative bettor? You're the kind of person who doesn't like to risk much. If that's the case, then you choose conservative. If you're the kind who wants more profits and can take some risk, then use standard. And if you're the type who loves betting fast and also with high risk, then choose aggressive. But just remember, if you choose aggressive, you're very likely to have more trends and more trend selections. Okay, so also remember that you need to have a bankroll size that's big enough to handle that many bets. Okay, so please keep that in mind. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch this to standard. Now, next thing will be about the frequency of bets. How often do you bet? Let's say, if you're a person who's very busy and you only like to bet on sports once in a while, then you choose minimum. If you're a person who can manage to place a decent number of bets during the day, outside of your day job, so that's cool. You can just choose regular. Or if you're the type who is, again, this correlates with being aggressive. If you're the type who loves to bet as much as possible and make more profits as fast as possible, then choose maximum. Okay. So I'm just playing around with these selections just to show you how this stuff works, guys. And then we'll see how the portfolio advisor creates the portfolio for you. Last one is the timing of the picks. How flexible are you? You can say I'm very flexible, meaning it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. I can even if Sports Trader were to give you a selection in the middle of the night, you'll jump out of bed and make that bet and then go back to sleep again. So if you're the kind and you don't care about the time, then just click I'm very flexible. Or if you're okay with certain timings and you don't want it to be too frequent, you choose the second one. Third is if you are very busy and you would only like to follow systems that give bets at least 1 hour before the game starts. So in other words, you need to have a little bit of a heads up before you can place your bets. I'm choosing to go with the middle one. Okay, I'm okay with any timing, but I need to have at least some signal or heads up at least 30 minutes before the game starts, and that's a decent amount of time. Okay, so let's see what happens if I use these selections, these conditions, and then ask the portfolio advisor to create a portfolio for me based on these selections. Okay, so it's gone ahead and recalculated everything, and I see Rasputin's system right at the top. We got Mikhail's soccer system, all these systems. Okay, and the great thing about the portfolio advisor, again, it goes ahead and it recalculates everything for you based on the unit size that you want. So go ahead and modify this, and it'll show you. You notice now how this is a much more reasonable bankroll size. Okay, $135 is something that you can definitely use even at that unit size. Now for the actual profit, what will happen is there are two ways by which you can take a look at what the projected profit can be like. You hover over the right hand side over here and it shows you what this profit could have been over the past 3 months. Otherwise, the simplest thing to do is just click apply portfolio at the bottom. And as soon as you do this, the portfolio advisor will apply all of these rules and conditions to the system selectors on the left hand side. In other words, it'll readjust everything on the left. It'll readjust the sports you selected, the systems, everything, so that it reflects and meets the conditions that have been given to you, that you gave rather. So you see how the graph has immediately changed on the right hand side, how all of these sports have changed based on what I selected there. And then I have the system selectors. These are the systems that are recommended for those particular sports. And only the ones which are active and most profitable will show up here. Okay? So this is pretty cool. Now, for this particular system, if it doesn't generate any, like signals, active signals currently, you'll notice that all of it is in the past signals. So that means right now it doesn't have any active signals, but you will notice that this section comes up and it tells you that it is looking for signals from the systems and trends that were selected, and that these are the next possible games which will be starting soon. So it will be best for you to check back later to see if there are active signals at least half an hour before these game start times. Okay. Now, I like to add more sports just for the fun of it. So let me show you what I did with one of these selections. I saved the active and most profitable. This I have separately. Just give it some time because you have to remember the system is sieving through more than 200 plus systems and trends, and it collects all of those. Now I don't know if you can see this, but can you see the Sports Trader message showing that there's a new signal available? And immediately you have an active signals tab over here which shows up. Right? So this active signal, these are the active signals that are generated by the systems on the left hand side here. All right. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention earlier was that after you're done applying the portfolio that was created for you by the portfolio advisor, you might want to save that so you can again come back to that later on. So I should have done that actually, and I forgot to show that to you. But once you're done with the portfolio advisor and you apply it, you come back here, you save the portfolio separately, and then this portfolio after you click portfolio apply. All right. Once you've applied that, you can save that separately and call it whatever you like, so that it becomes available to you as a drop down. All right, guys. So, well, now, like I said, now that all that's taken care of, the only thing left for you to do is to check for active signals before the start of the games. In fact, as long as you have the software open, you'll even receive real-time notifications in the tray next to the app icon, which is what I was trying to show you. And you'll notice that we have an active signals tab here and the past signals, which I have explained to you earlier. And if there are any upcoming matches, then it'll show up above this section and it'll tell you that these are the next upcoming matches that you have to watch out for. Okay. Let me show you this is the active signals. This is what the past signals look like. Right? Quite a lot of them, just in a day alone. All right, so coming back to the active signals tab. Now, each of these signals tells you the system and trend that generated this signal. So this is the Eddie's system. That's his system and the trend specifically for esports. All right, and then you have it shows you the team or the player that you have to bet on, the type of bet, the odds, the unit size. Now, see, if this is the unit size, then the amount that you will bet on is obviously your stake size multiplied by the unit. All right, so over here, coming back to this, let's see. Here, we have 100. I'm changing that to 10. Okay, and as soon as I do that, you notice that the bet amounts have changed. So you have $35 for 3.5 units, which is exactly what it should be. All right. And yeah, so this is the best way for you to be able to, keep track of the signals that are generated for you by the sports trader. And the best part is once you take this signal and you switch to your bookie, let's say for example it's Bet365 or it's 5 dimes, and you place your bet there, then you can come back here and then check this checkbox. And immediately that particular bet or signal gets grayed out, which means that you've placed it already, so you won't get confused and you won't have to place that particular bet again. And so it's just an easier way for you to remember that you already placed that bet. Now, like we constantly emphasize, Sports Trader is a complete no-brainer and its selections are fully automated, so nothing to analyze or calculate. Plus, it gives you signals that are specifically tailored to your bankroll size. Of course, no system is a crystal ball, and you will have some bumps and losing trades along the way as well. But if you follow each and every system consistently, then at the end of the day, you will start to see solid results. And your personal bankroll will reflect the kind of performance graphs that we have as well. All right, so let me just switch back to that, and I'll show you. Give me a moment here. All right, so I already showed you all this stuff, and so what I was trying to make you guys understand is, if you were to follow the bet selections from Sports Trader consistently. Now this is another thing, all right. See, what the app helps with is having to take away human emotion from the entire process of selecting those bets, those picks, and then having to place them. Okay, so if you know that these are the bets which come from a system which is predictable, then it takes out the human aspect from the entire equation, and it allows you to just focus on placing the bets instead of having to worry about whether this bet will really win or not. Now see, like I said, it's not possible for every single bet to be won. That's just not possible at all. Okay, you are never going to have a 100% winning system. Never, ever. If anyone ever tells you that, they are lying through their teeth, and they're just basically trying to scam you. So we are telling you upfront, you will never have a 100% winning system. You will have losses along the way, but what is more important is it depends on the size of the wins versus the losses that you have. You can even have a system that's just barely winning. Like say, for example, just in a system that might be only 49% or 51% with 51% accuracy. Okay, you might have a system that's bad. But if your system is based on selections that gives you really great odds, okay, even with that kind of a lousy accuracy, you can be making major money at the end of the month. And all that matters is for you to consistently follow those particular bets and picks. Okay? Kobo and Koan, can you please wait with your questions for the end of the webinar? We will address them later. Okay? Thank you. All right. So, the main reason why we even created this app was to make things convenient for you as a sports bettor, okay, as a user, and not having to worry about whether, where your picks are coming from, where your selections are coming from, where the logic is, nothing. It's all handled by the app. You just simply get your picks under the active signals tab, place them, come back, and then check your results the next day. That's about it. It's as simple as that. Okay? It does not get any easier than this, guys. We couldn't have possibly made it any easier. Okay, so we're at the end of the Sports Trader presentation. I just want to quickly run through a few basic frequently asked questions that you may have in mind about the Sports Trader. And then after that, we'll jump in with our expert. We have Bear online, and he's going to talk to us later. So let me just quickly run through the stuff with you guys, and then we'll keep the questions for later. Okay, so how easy is it to start with Sports Trader? If you're a newbie, open your bookie account like I showed you earlier. Open it with one of our recommended bookmakers like Bet365, 5Dimes, Pinnacle, whatever works for the country that you're in. First of all, open a bookie account, make sure it's funded. Then go ahead and open Sports Trader. Choose the sports and systems that you want to follow, just like how I demonstrated to you. You need to have at least 2 to 3 trends, just to make sure that you have at least some active signals. But obviously, you don't have to limit yourself to only 2 or 3 trends. You can choose as many as you like. Just keep in mind that you have to have a bankroll size that can handle the number of signals that are generated by the app. But that's also where the portfolio advisor comes in. It'll help you to readjust the stake size based on your bankroll. Okay, so then what platforms or what operating systems does this software support? The main standalone software works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. But like I said, it's not only available as a standalone software, it's also available within the Zcode members area. And you can access that anywhere you like. You're using any browser that supports it. So you have the web-based version. You can access that on your iPhone, on your iPad, and even on Android. Okay? Is the Sports Trader fully automated? Do I need to analyze bets and games? The Sports Trader is fully automated. Yes, it is automated, so you do not have to do any manual analysis yourself. Basically what you need to do is, like, say 2 to 3 hours before the game start, or about an hour before the game start, Sports Trader makes all the necessary calculations across all of our betting systems for you. And it gives you the exact team or player that you need to bet on, along with the exact bet type and the exact unit size you need to place. So like we've been saying, total no-brainer. Just place your bets, win, withdraw your profits, as easy as that. Okay? We're trying to make it as easy as possible for you. Is this really for me? I don't know much about sports. Well, the great thing about Sports Trader is you don't really need to know anything about sports themselves to make profits with this software. You may need to just learn a few basic things like, the types of sports bets. That's just so that you can place the bets on the bookies. Okay, but for the sports themselves, you don't really need to know the details, like, what goes into choosing a particular team or any of that stuff. And even if you don't have the time to analyze the stats and probabilities yourself, the system will give you everything you need on autopilot. So yes, even if you are a newbie, Sports Trader is for you. Now, how can I choose which systems to follow? Like I showed you, we offer more than 200 plus winning systems inside of the platform. Each system comes with a detailed, transparent past performance and charts. It helps you narrow down the search for the best systems, and I even showed you the Portfolio Advisor tool that will help you quickly choose the systems that fit your portfolio style, your favorite sports, and even the time zones. Okay? Is it proven? Do you have proof? Yes, we absolutely do. The systems that we have on SportsTrader have been fully proven, and they're constantly and regularly verified through our third-party monitoring services like BetVerify and BetDog. If you guys want the link to this, you can email us at techsupport@zcodesystem.com, and we'll send you the link. It's even available on the members area. So if you go into the Zcode members area, you'll find the link to the BetDog verification page. What if we all follow the same system? This is an interesting question. What if we all follow the same system? Will it not be effective anymore? Well, the beauty is our professional sports trader includes not just one, but more than 200 winning systems. And don't forget, each of those systems has its own trend, right? You have a whole bunch of sub-trends for each of those systems. So it's simply impossible for everyone to follow exactly the same system unless you're selecting all the sports and all the systems and trends that go along with them. So each user can select his own sports and systems, and I even showed you how to save them so you can load them up easily later on. So we don't really see any problem with that. Can I create my own system with SportsTrader 2? Yes, absolutely. It comes with advanced features like Trend and Performance Creator for experts who want to backtest and create their own sports systems too. And more than anything else, guys, what you will realize is when you're inside of the Zcode members area, other than the Sports Trader, you also have access to the Zcode VIP section as well as the ZLab. The ZLab is the main hub where all the development takes place. So if you have any bright ideas that you'd love to share with us, go ahead and get in on the ZLab. You can submit your systems to us, and then it'll be later on. Like I said, if it's a viable system, it will be added to our list of top performing systems as well. So are the bonus tools, VIP forum, and the experts wall included? Yes, absolutely. Like I showed you right at the beginning of the demonstration. Everything that you need in terms of the Zcode members area, it's accessible from within the software itself, and even the reverse, meaning to say that the SportsTrader software as a web-based software is also available within the Zcode members area. So you have complete flexibility that way. Okay, guys. So for now, I think we've pretty much covered, the Sports Trader in detail. I've given you the lowdown on everything that you need to know about the Sports Trader. So for those of you who haven't jumped in on this, please go ahead and start your trial. You can start with a 7-day trial on Sports Trader, or if you're already an existing Zcode member, just contact us at techsupport@zcodesystem.com. Okay. And we'll give you the link to get started with with SportsTrader on your account. The best thing to do is just simply go through this link. It's the easiest way to get it. zcodesystem.com/SportsTrader. That's the best way for you to access SportsTrader. Okay, so we're pretty much at the end of this presentation and the FAQ section. I'd like to now bring in our expert Bear, who's on the call with us. So I'm going to hand over this section of the webinar to him, and he's going to talk about the sports of interest that he's an expert in. It's his area of expertise. I'm sure there are many of you sports enthusiasts who have been eagerly awaiting for our experts to talk about the stuff that they're into. So without any further ado, let's begin with our American football expert, Bear. That's his name, and you can find him on the Zcode forum as well. He writes a blog. He actually blogs about most of the American sports and football. So just give me a moment here, and Bear, I'm pretty sure you can hear us. Could you just go ahead and test your mic?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just give me a moment here. All right, for the rest of you guys on the call, can you just type in the chat if you can hear Bear? All right.
Hey guys.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to let Bear is going to go ahead and talk about the sports that he loves and how he goes about his selections, the kind of stuff that he looks into as an expert. And while he's going through this, we'd really appreciate it if you keep all your questions that you have pertaining to either the sports trader or even about stuff which Bear is going to talk about. Keep it for the end of the session, and then we'll go ahead and we'll address them, okay, at the end. All right, Bear, it's all yours.
Okay. Hey, Alex, should I turn on the video?
Yeah, you can if you want to. Just give me a moment here.
Or if you want to leave that up, that's fine. Either way.
It's up to you. Are you going to be presenting anything on the screen?
No.
Okay. All right. Cool. So go ahead.
All right. Hey guys. I guess the first thing I just want to kind of jump in on the sports trader that I think is, and Alex mentioned this quite a bit, but I want to hit it home again, is that I think building, especially for new bettors, building your betting discipline and working on your money management skills are probably the biggest hurdle getting into this world. And using the sports trader is a way that can do that for you. And as someone who has done this for years, it's still a mental warfare every day to try to stick with the plan. And I don't mean some extreme chasing, but to really stick to your plan is hard. And having a sports trader app that is telling you what to do, when to do it, and how much to do it for takes that one of the biggest hurdles out of the equation. And then I think there's also that internal battle with, I want to be up, I want to be winning. And because if an individual is making the picks themselves, it becomes kind of a competition within themselves. And this way, with the sports trader, it takes that out. And I think that really helps, where you can, frankly, you can blame the sports trader if it does poorly, and you don't feel like you need to chase your wagers. And I think it'll save money. First of all, I think it'll win. You'll win. I think the systems that are on there are profitable. But I think you'll save money. You'll learn. You'll set a good foundation for your betting discipline that'll pay off for you when you start making your own selections. And that's something that 99% of people that do this don't ever do. So I think it's a good strategy to use just in general. And then, so I guess we got the NFL American football season starting up on September 7th. And we're in the 4th week of the NFL preseason. And for those of you that don't know, that this is the last week of the preseason games, the games that don't count. And the 3rd week, the starters play for a majority of the game. The 4th week, no one will play. This will be a bunch of scrubs and a bunch of people trying to make the team, and no team will risk an injury with a key player. So personally, I wouldn't invest in anything week 4 of NFL preseason. It's just too much of a wild card. Although there are some opportunities, I think in general, a rule of thumb is just to not bet. And what it does is give us a little time to dig into the pending suspensions and all the key injuries that have happened in the first 4 weeks of preseason. And there's been quite a few, and just an example, like Ezekiel Elliott, the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys, has been suspended 6 games. And he is currently going to appeal the suspension, and where that shakes out will dictate quite a bit on how the Cowboys season shapes up. And just this past weekend, Julian Edelman, the wide receiver for the New England Patriots, blew out his knee, and he's out for the whole year. That's a key injury that's going to affect New England's offense. Things like this, you want to give a game or two to see how teams adjust and adapt, and who replaces them and how other teams play them. So I think NFL is a real tough world to bet in because the lines are so sharp and there's only 16 games that early in the season, even the books don't really know how a team is going to shape out. So paying attention to injuries and suspensions are really, really important, especially at key positions like on the offensive line or in the secondary. And I think just another word of advice that hits on a little bit of what the sports trader was about is I think with NFL, less is more. Your volume of betting, when in doubt, don't bet, I think is a good rule of thumb. I wouldn't change your unit sizes throughout the year. I really focus on keeping 2 to 4 plays a week at the same unit size and having the discipline to not worry about losing streaks, that you always want to keep in a realistic win percentage based on your odds. And if you're playing against the spread, you're most likely going to be betting around minus 110 or 191 odds. And you need, a 52.6% winning percentage to break even on those odds. And if you're buying points, you're going to need to do a little bit better. But that does tell you that if you can hit 54.5%, 55% of your bets against the spread, you're going to be very profitable. So it's just a matter of riding out those inevitable losing streaks. And then I think I personally like to wait, get a few games under their belt before I start diving headfirst into the NFL season. But there are a few little angles that come into play early in the year. And I think an important one to look at are teams that did very poorly last season against the spread and looking at them in the first month of the season. And so I'm just kind of ballparking it, but in 2016, the Cleveland Browns, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Los Angeles Rams were all less than 30% covering their spread, which is horrible. And those very, very, very bad. But those teams that are that bad the year before are profitable the first month of the season the following year. So I think even looking at the opening week's games, they actually play on September 10th. The first game of the season is September 7th on a Thursday, but the full slate is on Sunday, September 9th. And you can look at each team, and all 3 of those teams I named are at home, and they're all underdogs, and they're all going to get a lot of points. And I think those are solid plays and might be for the first month of the season, given the public perception and just how poorly they covered last year. So that is something I would always keep in mind. And that kind of transitions to something that I use in every sport, but in NFL, I think this wouldn't be a bad thing to have it be your initial mindset, is start from a contrarian point of view, start from the anti-public point of view, and I call it fading ESPN. So, buy on bad news kind of thing. The NFL is so public driven on their betting that when a quarterback is getting hyped up on ESPN, inevitably the books are going to shade the line and the public will be hammering it, and there's value on the other side. And, extrapolating that, use that for anything, an injury, a team who's hot, whatever. Being contrarian and fading the public, not necessarily blindly, but having that be your starting point is, to me, a very key thing to keep in mind throughout the entire season. So one example of that right now on HBO is Hard Knocks. It's a documentary where they follow a team during the NFL training camp, and this year it's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And inevitably that team gets really hyped. They're in the public eye, and they're going to be overvalued. That would be a team I would look at, not necessarily every time they play, but there's spots where they're going to be overvalued. If the public is really heavy on them, it's a great fade because there'll be a high volume of bets just because of the name recognition from that show. So that things like that are something to keep in mind. And then also, this takes a little bit of digging, but looking at last season and looking at the luck-based events that happened for a team, and I'll give one example, is the Detroit Lions last year. They won 9 games. They went 9-7 straight up. And they won 0 of their 9 wins were against playoff teams. They had a negative point differential, which means the teams they played scored more points than they did overall. And their quarterback, Matt Stafford, led 8 fourth-quarter game-winning drives. So they won 9 games, and 8 of them, their quarterback had to win at the end, which was an NFL record, and it will definitely not happen again. So that you can look at those kind of stats and see that Detroit is in a spot to regress. And then it's just a matter of finding the right matchup to exploit that. And usually it'd be when they're on the road, and ideally, if they're ever a road favorite, that would be a great one. But looking at that, and you can probably find other examples of that carry over to this year where you can find some things to exploit. I think that's always a good idea. And again, I would definitely hit home the contrarian bet against the public. There's going to be some games where the New England Patriots are playing the Cleveland Browns, and it's New England's a 9-point favorite, and there's 86% of the public is on New England, and that line does not move. It stays at 8 the whole time. I mean, that is all you need to know, and that would be a clear-cut sign to take the underdog in the points. And it's just because of the volume of bets that the books get are so big from public that they can afford to let some sharps come in and hit it. But they won't move it any further because then the sharps would just add more money to it, and it would end up flipping it for them. So
yeah, sorry to cut in, Bear, but what you were saying about this entire section regarding contrarian bets, right? It actually ties in a lot with our line reversal tools, because that's what it tries to aim to show. Basically where the money is going, and even though people expect it to be on the one side, it actually turns out to be just the opposite, because that's right. Exactly what the sharks are looking for.
And I would keep the line reversal tool in the NFL using the Pinnacle lines is a great sharp book that you'll see, and this is where I think the volume of bets less is more. Because there will generally be one bet a week that once you realize the reverse line moves and how the public and sharp money is spread out, there will be plays that are just so obvious that you'll be able to jump on them early and you'll get a better number. And I think that that's important to keep the line reversal tool up, or check it periodically. Especially in the NFL, you have a whole week. So you can start keep track of when you're looking at it, what time, what it's done, and the percentages that are happening and what the line's doing. And when it starts going, when you see a good strong line move, that's especially from a book like Pinnacle, is going to be sharp money, and it's going to be something that you want to be on the same side as the money. So that's one thing, I guess, for newbies to explain that. Just because 80% of the bets are on one team doesn't mean that 80% of the money's on that team.
Exactly.
So the 20% of the bets that are sharp, they could be 80% of the money. And, it's just a bunch of public bettors betting $20, and then you have a sharp bettor betting $200,000.
Right.
And that's something to keep in mind, especially in a public-driven field like NFL. The volume is ridiculous. I mean, it's by far and away the biggest American betting, but by far, volume-wise.
That's right. The beauty of the sports trader is also the fact that the engine that drives the LR tool is also included as one of the many parameters that go into creating some of the trends. So you actually have on the sports trader you have specific trends which are driven by the LR tool, and you will see them as written as LR trends. So if you see LR, it means those are line reversal trends. Then you have them under different sports. So even for the NFL as well, I mean it's perfect. It just ties in with everything you were just saying.
Yeah, and
It comes together
I
very
would
beautifully.
I would encourage everyone to, I understand that there's time constraints in everyone's life, but it's worth immersing yourself as much as possible in that, for instance, the line reversal tool.
Hmm.
That you can start seeing patterns, and you don't even have to know what each thing means. That you'll just visually be able to see patterns over time to get you used to it, and you'll start to see, because sometimes lines jump back or bounce back, and for different reasons that you can get caught up in minutia. But once you get a feel for it and get comfortable with it and know and kind of know the general aspect of it, I think that really you start noticing what it'll do is help you notice things earlier. And what that'll do is help you get lines at a better number or a better price.
Correct. Sweet.
And I mean, like I said, I could dive into more generic what I think NFL is going to. It's just so it's hard to do early in the season with injuries and new players and haven't seen them play. And I think a lot of people will a lot of sharp bettors wait, except for a select few games, and then they attack those hard. And I think using the line reversal tool and using some contrarian betting, you'll be able to see those games easily. And the first week or two, you might only have one or two bets, or maybe four bets total, but they'll be really solid on the right side of the money plays that should be very profitable.
Nice. All right. So is there anything else you'd like to add, Bear? Or shall we wrap this up? Because I think this is like coming to almost 1.5 hours.
Yeah, I could go on and on. I'm really.
But yeah,
So
I think we should probably do this more often and, get more of our experts on board. And then, probably even have a session that's just dedicated to you guys. So you guys could
I mean,
talk about
I would
systems
I
and
would gladly do that, and I think any Q&A is great, and I mean
yeah,
baseball's still going on. I mean, there's a lot of things that are still profitable, and then I love Zcode, and I love being on the wall, so I see a lot of questions. There are a lot of things happening that could periodically be something to talk about as well.
that's right. Yeah, I love it too. I mean, I love the way the spirit that's inside of the entire Zcode community. How everyone's willing to learn and share at the same time. That's just so cool.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly learned a lot from listening to Bear. So thank you so much, Bear, for joining us today. We really
Yeah,
enjoyed
thanks for having
hearing
me.
about everything that you had to share with us, and the tips as well. And yeah, like I said, I really think we should probably do this more often.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of the webinar, and in a couple of minutes, we'll start off the Q&A session. I'll activate the chat section in a bit, and you should be able to see the chat icon on the left-hand side. Just one thing, though. Please keep your questions brief and to the point. Emily and I will be monitoring your queries. We'll be moderating. We won't be able to answer everyone's questions, but we will try to do as many as we can. Yeah, one thing that's very important is if you're facing any issues, especially if it's technical, when you're signing up for your trial or installing the Sports Trader software onto your system, please contact us directly at the tech support address, which is techsupport@zcodesystem.com. You can see that right over here. Okay? And if you have any general or billing related queries, then you can email Annie and Emily, and that's simply at support@zcodesystem.com. So for tech, it's tech support. For general and billing, it's just simply support. Okay? Support@zcodesystem.com. All right, guys, we're going to start the Q&A session now. we I'm reactivating the chat section on the left. So go ahead and post your questions one by one, and we'll take them. And even if you have questions for Bear as well, he'll address them for you. So no worries. Type if you're talking about the cost to SportsTrader. It depends on a couple of factors. If you're brand new to Zcode, then it's actually $149 per month. Okay, but if you're an existing member, you can email us and we'll tell you how you can get on that. Okay, we have some furious typing happening right now. Questions, people. There isn't a coupon code, Jurjak. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but anyway, see, here's how it is. Okay, with if you've been with Zcode for some time, we do give a concession, but that's something that will only that's something that we go ahead and we consider on a case by case basis. But like I said, if you're doing a sports trader for the first time, then it's $149 per month. Okay, and there are no discounts on that. Because see, the thing is, the moment you sign up for Sports Trader at that price, you get full access to Zcode. Okay, that's the Zcode members area along with the VIP members area and even the picks, the VIP picks, everything. You get full access to everything, which normally would cost you $198 per month. Okay, so if you were to sign up for Sports Trader directly, you're already getting a discount of almost $50. So please keep that in mind. Xavier has a question coming right up. Anyone else has questions regarding the software itself? Please go ahead and post away. You know, it's funny, while I was going through the webinar with you guys with the presentation, there were actually a bunch of active signals that came up immediately. And now that I'm looking at it, yeah, we've got quite a few signals on MLB and tennis. That's from the Huan System Trends. So yeah, you'll have like a whole bunch of these active signals throughout the day. Yeah, Xavier, let's take a look. Where's the image? Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you, Xavier. I mean, there are people on the community who will go above and beyond just to help, others, and especially if you're a newbie as well. I mean, I've seen people go ahead and sit down and actually explain every single nuance and detail for newbies. So that kind of support is very important within a community. Yes, Robert. If you were to sign up for Sports Trader, you automatically get access to the Zcode VIP members area. That's within the software itself, and like I said, you can even access it separately through your browser. Okay, so all of it comes included. You get access to everything. You get the VIP picks, you get the forum, you get the wall, everything. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Xavier. The wall's a nice place, and for especially for when the experts go ahead and they jump in with all the advice and all the different recommendations they have. It's good fun. Kuan, what do you mean by free discount? You mean the free trial? Okay, I need to explain one thing here. You have three options to the Sports Trader registration, okay? You can go ahead and you can sign up for a free, 7-day trial thing, but what happens is that particular option only gives you limited access to Sports Trader. You cannot access everything that I showed you in this demonstration. So it doesn't give you full access to the app. It's just for you to get a basic idea of how the app feels, and you can use that part of the trial to check to see if the software is running properly on your system. Just give me a moment here. That might be an issue with your payment method. So if there are issues like that, please email us. Just email me at techsupport@zcodesystem.com. Send us a screenshot if you can of what the error is. It's always helpful if you send us a screenshot. It'll be easier for us to help you that way. Yes, Robert, go on. Okay, Emily, can you just take down Jurjak's username and just trace this particular issue? We'll get back to you, Jurjak. Don't worry. Okay, we'll help you with this with signing up for the trial. Don't worry about it. Type, are you asking for Robert's email? Okay, I'm not really sure if we're going to encourage that right now, but it'd be cool for you guys to chat on the forum if there are any questions. I'll leave it up to Robert though, but it'd be better if you guys don't share emails on the webinar. Okay, Type, if you have a direct question for us, go ahead and shoot. Don't worry about what others say. Just ask what you want to ask.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah?
I think Type had audio problems. I'm not sure he was hearing.
Oh, really? Okay.
I saw it earlier in the chat. I'm not sure, but I thought I saw him say he couldn't hear.
I see. All right. Let me just take a look. That's weird. Okay, we're gonna have to get back to Type separately because for some reason his audio settings are completely switched off, and that doesn't have anything to do with us. It's probably because he wasn't able to get onto this webinar properly. Okay, Kyuan, just email us, like I said, just email us at tech support and we'll sort that out for you. Okay? Exactly. Thank you. Okay, this webinar is, it's closing in on almost 2 hours. But if you guys have any pressing questions, anything urgent, just quickly type away. I actually think that's a question for Barry. Barry, you want to take this one? What Xavier just asked? Will there be more trends open up? Will more trends open up when the NFL season get past the preseason? Are you talking about trends from within the sports trader, Xavier? Yeah, see, here's how it works, okay? You're obviously not going to have trends with valid signals during a sports that hasn't even kicked into season yet. So NFL, like Bear was saying, it's like at the end of the preseason, and there are a lot of uncertainties right now. So, see, you have to think, okay, let's just think of it this way. You have a system which has a bunch of rules, okay? And those rules need to be met. They need to be fulfilled. And some parts of those rules are based on odd prices and statistics, okay? So if the odd prices are not within a particular range, and especially when the sport is just about getting into season, you're not going to have any prices which are valid for the system to even consider. So, so obviously the trends are not going to shape up right now. They will start showing up within the first and probably like after September 7th. Kuan, see, you have to realize one thing. It's great that you're able to reach us directly, but we get hundreds of emails every day, okay, from other Zcode members. And there are times when we might miss out on a person's email because it gets buried under everyone's emails, okay? So please take that into consideration. Be patient. We will get back to you, all right? And especially since you've reached us here directly, Emily or Annie will definitely get back to you, so don't worry about it. All right, yeah, thank you very much for that question, Xavier. I hope that was clear enough. Okay, guys, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to wrap this up. And any more questions? Anyone? All righty. Okay, people. Thank
All
you
right,
all
Alex.
for being. Yeah.
Alex.
Sorry. Yeah, Bear.
Sorry. Sorry, I think I saw one that I'm interested in too.
Yeah.
Where can we re-listen to this?
Are you talking? Oh, you mean the webinar? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Once we're done with this webinar, we're going to be posting it up online. We'll be sending out the link to everybody, not just to the ones who've attended the webinar, and we'll be making it available on the website as well. So don't worry about that. It's going to be posted on the website.
Cool.
Okay. All right. So I just want to go ahead and thank you all for being here. We appreciate you taking the time out to attend our Zcode webinar. And before I close, please don't forget to sign up for your Sports Trader trial if you're new to Sports Trader. And if you're an existing Zcode member, just email us. That's the best thing to do. Okay? Email us and we'll help you get started. We really hope you have, a really profitable the rest of the, fall and winter of 2017. Just totally enjoy yourself with the latest Sports Trader software and with all the new trends that are going to be coming up. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you again. Thank you, Bear, especially for being on the call. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you all. Ciao.